I'm Luke Beard.
I'm Chris Green.
I'm Riley Gunter.
And I'm Nash Rainey.
And we are the Backups. All right, let's get right into the NBA. Nash, I'll let you kick us off with it.
I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but there's, the biggest story of the week and maybe of all time. Our GOAT, LeBron James has crossed the 40,000 point mark. I mean, thoughts, opinions, reactions?
I'm not shocked. I mean, at this point in his career, I figured he would have done it just based off of what he's done in the past couple years.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he's slowing down at all.
Yeah.
He's still, a top 15 player in the league. So it's like, I'm not shocked that he's hit 40,000.
Yeah.
It's just a crazy milestone.
It's insane that someone has had the capability of doing it.
Basically 40 years old.
But with it being LeBron, it's like,
It's LeBron.
Yeah, it's LeBron. I expected it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if it was anyone else, I'd be like, whoa, 40,000. But LeBron, he's superhuman.
Yeah.
He's the second greatest player to ever touch a basketball court. Maybe third, depending on how you look at it. But
Definitely.
I think he's the best player to ever touch a basketball court. But I think Jordan the GOAT, in terms of
best versus
ability,
greatest argument.
I can understand.
We can say he's the best, but
I still
if
think
you see guys like prime Vincent Poirier or like prime Evan Fournier, he was good.
On 2K, yeah.
Prime Gerald Green, 2K14.
On 2K, yeah.
Prime Riley Gunter.
2K20, Andre Kirilenko.
Church baller.
Yeah.
Church ball went crazy.
Yeah. Church ball McGunter.
Averaged 2 points, maybe 1 assist.
But yeah, it's LeBron. I think we all saw
LeBron,
it coming.
yeah.
Congratulations to the King. The King of Kings.
All right.
I mean, I would say that sometimes I might be a bit of a biased fan towards LeBron, just a little bit. Mm-hmm. But in actual honesty, it's such a crazy thing to think about that a player can not only play for this long, but play well for this long. To the point, he's older than half the league, or all the league basically.
Yeah.
He's got 40,000 points. It's just crazy to think about how he hasn't really taken a step back like you'd think. I remember there's a famous tweet that when he hit 30, people were like, okay, this is where it's going to start turning down, and he never did, which is just a crazy thing to think about, and it's just such an impressive feat. And I want to ask, I personally believe, and I've heard it repeated, but I personally believe, I don't think this will get repeated ever. I feel like the idea that someone else can score at this level for this long is just, it doesn't seem like a possibility to me.
You have to be able to get in the league at 18, keep your body healthy, and not sit out games.
Yeah.
And everyone sits out games now. I just don't think it's possible.
I'm curious how high his record is going to go.
I would say probably 44 max.
Depending on how many more years.
Yeah, it depends.
I think he plays 2-3 more years.
I could definitely see it.
Is he still waiting for Bronny to play?
Maybe.
Maybe, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Now that Bronny looks like he's going to wait another year, maybe not.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
Probably not.
I remember last year we watched him pass the mark live, and it's crazy to think about that. In this whole time period, he's just been extending and building on that record. Yeah, just impressive play from the greatest of all time.
Kareem could have come out of the stands and blocked that shot.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping he did. It'd be more. It wouldn't be actual it would be unnecessary hating and not allowed. But I feel like it would almost be like a wrestling storyline where every time LeBron enters the stadium, Kareem's here to block him and
Kareem is suited up.
Yeah, he's suited up.
He's starting to score more points.
Yeah, they put him on stilts and allow him to goaltend. But no, it's just a crazy. To see this happen is so crazy to me, and it's such an impressive feat.
Yeah.
Real resume builder.
Yeah. Let's look at the standings for the NBA. Not much has changed, if anything, really. The Nuggets are starting to climb their way to the first place spot. I don't think any of us are insanely shocked by that. Nothing much I can really add on to that. Celtics had a big win this week, 50 points, cementing themselves still as one of, if not the top team in the league. I think they're making more of a case as every game goes on. 11-game win streak it's hard to deny.
Just curious who's going to finish last in the East.
I feel like the Pistons.
Probably Washington.
Yeah,
I feel
probably
like the
Washington.
Pistons have recovered. I
'Cause
think
yeah,
They haven't recovered at all.
I was gonna
But
say at least the Pistons like they actually compete. The Wizards, you just going, you
They
know
get
they're
blown
gonna
out.
lose the game. Yeah,
just
yeah, I'd say Washington.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the East, especially the Celtics, as much as I hate to admit it, are probably the best team in the definitely the best team in the East, and probably the best. You could definitely make a case for best team in the league. I mean, 11 straight. They've been playing like crazy recently, and
A
it's,
lot of the games have been just dominating.
yeah,
teams,
they've
too.
been a good team when in the games they've played. So it's really just one of those things where, as somewhat of a newer NBA fan, just a fan of the sport of basketball in general, it's one of those things where they're a pretty big favorite for a good reason. But I feel like it's always kind of boring to just accept that and see them going through untouched into the finals. So, I mean, I could see a few of these teams giving the Celtics a run for their money. I feel, especially come playoff time. Jason Tatum isn't really known to be one to perform in big games. And I feel like there's a lot of good contenders in the East. I mean, the Bucks. The Bucks have won their last 6, which I think says something about them. And
Something's changing.
something's
Yeah,
changing. Something's
right.
because you don't just win that by accident. So I mean, for me, it's probably those are the 2 biggest ones, and I mean I could see the Cavs. I like the Cavs.
I think
I've
they have a
always
fun
have.
team.
They got a fun team. I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah. I think if they can get together, they could be a championship contender, but they really need to get it together. And it looks like Donovan Mitchell might leave in free agency. So
Right. And I know people keep making a joke like, yeah, the Celtics doing all this to just to lose to the Heat, but nah, this is a different team from the last couple of years. Like they got rid of people like
Marcus Smart,
Marcus Smart.
Grant Williams is gone.
Yeah, like
Robert
people like
Williams is
that,
gone. Adding Chris Hobson, Drew Holiday's huge.
Yeah.
They've figured out a rotation that works for them. It'll probably cut down to probably an 8-man rotation in the
Yeah.
playoffs with it being Pritchard, Horford, and Hauser coming off the bench, I would assume. It's not the same team.
Yeah.
It's a much better team.
Yeah, I mean, winning 80% of your games, you have to be a really elite team to
Yeah.
be able to do something like that.
And Derek White's taking a jump too
Right.
this year.
It's a very talented roster. It's a very talented team. And then I kind of looking at the rest of the standings. I mean, I'm focusing on just kind of the 8 through 10 spot. Is there anyone have any comments about 3 through 7? Anything going on there? Is it just
Nothing
kind of
crazy.
Not particularly.
Yeah,
think
that makes sense.
I
Yeah,
think the Kings and the Suns might trade blows back and forth for the 6th seed, but
yeah.
and maybe the Pelicans fall out. But other than that, not really anything.
Speaking of the lower seeds in the East and West, as we get further on in the season, there's a lot of importance going into these play-in spots. Riley, you're a fan of one of the play-in teams. What do you have to say about this? Are you worried about the Mavericks dropping a game in that play-in, or what do you think?
They didn't watch the Warriors
Just
game.
yeah, I'm just saying, just from what I've seen through like social media, I don't see the Warriors making it through the play-in tournament. I mean, they might. I mean,
realistically, I see them beating the Lakers. I do. I think both teams they're very similar teams.
They
That's
similar,
hard
but I
to really
think the Lakers
pick.
is a bad
Yeah.
matchup for them.
But I think the Warriors are the team that can lock in playoff time. I
So
just
can
don't
the
know if the Lakers have that because they changed their roster so much.
They really didn't do that.
Not this
much.
season,
I was
no,
gonna say,
but
they didn't do that much.
I mean, they underperformed last season. So what's that going to say about this team? I think they underperform again
You think they
and possibly miss out on a playoff spot.
I could see that. I mean, this Warriors team, I think it's one of those things where Steph, it's like it's one of my favorite quotes, but he put himself in a situation where he's uncomfortable. 'Cause,
That's actually my favorite
yeah,
saying. Yeah.
my favorite saying.
it'd be comfortable to just to be above the 10 seed, but I think he's I think he's embodying kind of a never give up spirit by staying in the 10th seed. It's obviously it's going to be hard to pass LeBron. Not many teams have done that this year, so I think I personally I think the Lakers.
Not
probably
many
win
teams
the
have
play-in.
passed LeBron this year. They've lost 29 games.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's
A lot of teams have passed them.
they've won 34, so that's basically
There's 8 teams in their conference better than them.
well. So that's I feel like it's more of a subjective thing.
There's 8 teams in the
It's
other
just numbers.
conference better than them.
To be honest, I think Sacramento might be one of the teams that miss it.
I think Sacramento and the Lakers miss.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I actually want to see Sacramento make it though.
I think it's going to be Sacramento and Golden State.
I honestly think the Pelicans might miss it.
No, I don't think the
You
Pelicans.
think the
they could
Pelicans
drop
drop
out.
out? Why is that?
I just have no
watched them.
confidence in that
I watched
team.
them play, man. No, they cold. Man. They cold.
They are cold, but
I watched them.
my
play.
thing, I don't know if they have enough experience. That's another one of those things. Experience comes a long way. And the Kings gained some last season. I don't know.
I think it's also tough.
It'll be interesting going down the stretch to see what happens with these teams, though.
It's also tougher in the West. I feel like it's a lot closer than it is the East. I mean, your top 4 seeds are, that's a 4-game difference, and that 1 seed is 1 game different. It's very close.
Yeah,
And then you
half a
get,
game away.
you look at the East and
12 games from the top.
it's like eight
Or 8 games from the
9
top,
games from the other seeds. So I mean, I'm excited to watch how the Western Conference plays out. I feel like that's probably going to be more interesting vis-a-vis the play-in. As a newer fan of basketball, of NBA basketball, I like the Kings just because like Charlotte, they've struggled for a very long time.
But they regressed this year.
And
Yeah, they're not. As good as
they're not as good as last year, but I think it's just I think it'd be fun to just see them in the playoffs. I don't think I don't think we'll do anything.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, any other
I don't
thoughts,
think
opinions
so.
on that?
That's all I have.
Oh, how could I forget? My Charlotte Hornets, after last week, I said I have hope for this franchise. Things are looking better. I haven't felt, I've basically felt terrible about this team the entire time I've watched them. And for the first time ever, last week, I felt some glimmer of hope. Since that, I said that we've not won a game, lost 4 straight. So I just am really dejected, I guess, is the best way to say it. Keep buzzing, I guess, because it hurts to see, man.
Yeah, y'all are not good.
We are not good.
Not very good.
All right, let's kick it over to the Premier League. Chris, you start us off.
The hero Darwin Nunez, man. Like, the amount of games he better as Newcastle. I mean, both Newcastle games.
Both the goal and the assist from McAllister.
Yeah. That was big, too.
99th minute too. I know there's debate among if it should have been allowed, but I mean it seemed fair.
Yeah. Good win overall, and then something we needed to get ready for this weekend. Big game against Man City, so.
Yeah.
You think you got a good chance? I'm assuming you have a good chance. Of winning.
Yeah, I think we got a chance. I mean, last game I didn't think we had a chance. We drew with them, so I mean.
And it ended up being at Anfield. I think
yeah,
gives you a little bit of an advantage.
I feel good about it.
I feel like it being Klopp's last season at Liverpool. I think the team's playing with a little more.
Yeah, a little bit more motivation.
More passion, more aggression, more mindset, I'd say.
Okay, so
we should just start skipping you.
Burnley played Bournemouth and lost.
They played.
Well, they didn't play him well, that's for sure.
Yeah, they played.
Both teams sent 11 men onto the field. One of them played soccer, or one of them played soccer. The other played football.
You know when you're a kid and you get put in like little league baseball and you're sitting in the outfield picking at grass?
Yeah.
That's what this Burnley team is. They're just sitting around picking at grass.
We lost 2-0 to Bournemouth, and I already said it before. I think Crystal Palace was the make or break game. We lost that 3-0. So now it's just like
It's a slide.
It's whatever.
it's more just like it's just kind of sad because like the chances of
You're always
Burnley.
sad in sports, man.
The chances of Burnley making a push and escaping relegation are basically slim to none.
Yeah.
So now it's just kind of tough, tuning in and seeing them just constantly losing. We're now level on points with Sheffield United, which I didn't think I was going to say at all this season.
I think there's a difference between those two teams, though. I feel like Burnley's still playing with passion.
We're still. I think we're
Sheffield's
a
given
better
up
team than
completely.
Sheffield. We're definitely a better team, but we're level on points. They've won a game more recently than we have. It's just kind of sad to see. So I would say it's probably 99% over. I think there's still a 1% chance we make a push and
Yeah. No.
escape relegation, but it's tough.
I put Man City beating Man United in the Derby. Phil Foden masterclass. I think he's up with.
I was checking.
I think he's up with. I put him, Saka, and Bellingham, probably the 3 youngest world class players that England has. That was a really good
that was a
performance
good
by
game.
him. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Man City is just as a team, as a fan of Burnley, I don't get to see too many two high-level teams play off, and it's often one high-level team, Burnley, playing someone else. So whenever I see Man City
I'm sure when Man City played y'all, their backup scored twice in like 2 minutes.
Whatever that was about. It's just they're just such a complete team. Like they really seem to know what they're doing out there.
I mean, at the same time, if you're paying almost $1 billion,
especially with
if you're paying almost $1 billion for a squad, they should be a complete team. If you're paying that much money for them,
So
that's another team in the Premier League did the same thing, and they just doing whatever.
I'm definitely gonna tune in for this Liverpool Man City game.
Yeah,
I know
it's gonna be a good one. Yeah,
it's gonna be a banger.
Arsenal defeat Sheffield United 6-0. We're just best team in the Premier
Scored
League still.
right now.
scored 5 goals in the first half.
We don't let up goals and we can't stop scoring. So it's kind of
Y'all getting hot at the right time.
I believe Sheffield has
Making
in their
a push.
past 4 of like their past 5, they've let 5 goals in. Brighton has accounted for 2 of those.
I mean,
It's something to celebrate
We're
about.
also
level.
let 5 goals
We're
in.
level on.
My bad, 6.
We're level with Sheffield on points, but they have 15 goals worse in their goal differential. And our goal differential is -35, so, they're -50.
Yeah, and we just mentioned Brighton. I want to hear Riley talk about this.
It's tough.
Really?
It's tough watching. Well, we're not putting the best players out on the field when starting, and I understand what's going on. We have Europe competition coming up this week, even though it's not an excuse because to be Brighton owner, he wants us to be a European level club, but I'm like, we gotta try in the Premier League. There's no passion on the field whatsoever.
No aggression.
But it's like watching this team. It's sad, but at the same time, I gotta be happy because I'm witnessing. Like I've just kind of come into the fandom of Brighton, and this is the first. Fandom might have not been the right word, but
No,
It's not word.
oh,
Yeah.
But but it's good that I get to witness a European competition, like their first ever. This is probably the best the club's playing. Man, I can't even talk on this.
No, man, Nash just looked at me, and I looked over, and he's making a face.
No, yeah, but I mean, those are games. I mean, I can't really speak from experience, but I can understand the feeling of you don't want to give up easy games like that.
Yeah.
You want to be a high level team and playing. That kind of philosophy of we're not going to really put our best foot forward because we have bigger things to worry about. Like, it's frustrating. I can understand that.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is going to be an exciting week. I don't even care if we. I want us to win, obviously, but it's nice seeing your club in a European competition.
Who are y'all playing?
AS Roma.
AS
It's
Roma.
a tough one. They're kind of killing it in Serie A right now.
All right.
Sounds scary.
Let's throw it over to the NFL. Russell Wilson is going to be cut March 13th by the Denver Broncos. Anyone surprised by this move?
No.
It's one of those things where it's like I'm not surprised they did it. It's more just surprising that they committed to it. I feel like
I'm surprised they're taking the cap hit.
it's such a
It's
big
85 mil.
cap hit. They're taking they're taking such a monetary loss on this, and this is this is after his second season on the Browns. You know what I mean? Like
Where he improved.
it's crazy to see that happen, especially considering just how much they gave up just to get him. To kind of give up on him at this stage is just so surprising to me. And I remember seeing it first. I saw it on TikTok, and I was like, "This isn't real. Like someone's making a joke here," because it seems so outlandish. And then you think about it, and it's just like they're kind of backed up into a corner. They thought he was going to be someone he wasn't, and I understand the motivation for it, but it's just so surprising to see that Russell Wilson got cut. Especially I mean, as a Panthers fan, I have many memories of the early 2010s, us playing them, him just absolutely destroying us.
Yeah.
So I could have never imagined that there'd be a day where he was on my least favorite team, the Broncos, and getting cut because he was that bad. So it's kind of, from my perspective, I was happy to see it. I like seeing the Broncos kind of suffer, but it was just surprising.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate because you look at all the quarterbacks that the Broncos been going through for the last 8 to 9 years.
Yeah.
They got to get somebody.
That's the best quarterback they had in the last few years.
And
They
that's-
still can make the playoffs.
Since Peyton Manning,
They
they
gotta do
haven't
something.
really. I mean, they've had Paxton Lynch, Drew Lock,
Brock Osweiler.
Brock Osweiler. Like they really haven't had a quarterback. And they've had their defense has been pretty good.
Yeah.
They've had playmakers. Like they're not Because they can't.
It's just like from a front office standpoint,
Wasn't
like
Joe Flacco
what do you do? Yeah, they had Joe Flacco too. Yeah.
Just they
When
haven't
they
had like
started
an
with
elite
a
young
running
guy.
back at quarterback one game one time.
That's because everyone had COVID.
Yeah, but
though.
everybody had COVID. That was
a crazy game.
Yeah, with this situation, I feel for Russ. I feel bad for him. I'm not the kind of person to to be happy when someone loses their job like Nash is. So I kind of feel bad for Russ. I don't think it's a good situation to ever see somebody lose their income, and they're he's out of a job now. Man.
It's Russell Wilson. I don't think he's
out of a job. I feel bad.
I'm surprised.
Not knowing where your next meal's coming from.
It's not about him. It's about the
I'm kidding.
Broncos.
He knows where his next meal's coming
Yeah,
from.
I'm
But not knowing if you're going to get a
worried about
paycheck
that.
again, it is an unfortunate situation for him.
Yeah.
I think he's a good dude.
Yeah.
I really like to cheer for Russ. I think he's a really nice guy. I think he will find a team.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna
I'd
ask
be
where y'all think
surprised
think he gonna go.
I feel like he's going to be like a bridge kind of quarterback. He's not going to be he's not a franchise guy anymore.
No.
But he'll go to a team to either help a younger guy that's going to get put in the starting spot, or he's just going to bridge over. I could see him going to Tampa maybe.
I was thinking more like Steelers.
I'm thinking. I heard they don't want a veteran though. I could see
the Giants too.
Yeah, I could see the Giants. I could see Atlanta. That wouldn't shock me.
I'm hearing like the Falcons kind of don't want Justin. They want to go for like Russ or Kirk Cousins.
I think we're going for
I'm hearing about that.
I think we're going for a vet. I like Kirk. I'm a Kirk Cousins kind of guy, but I like Russ too. I'd be happy with Russ. I think Russ brings more to the table than Kirk in the running position, obviously. And we like to run the ball a lot, so I think he could help with some options and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think Kirk is better in the throwing format of it, and I would like to see us start getting more passes involved. That's why I like Kirk a little more. But I think Russ could also be a really good fit. I like both of them. I heard Baker too, so I don't know.
See, I mean, thinking it's one of those things where I can't there's no, at least for me, there's no immediate first choice of where I think he could go. There's a lot of places I could see him going, but it was just it was such a shock to me. I mean, I could see the Falcons. I could definitely see that happening, and I just a team that's kind of had a similar kind of struggle with maybe not for over the same amount of time, but I feel like the Raiders could honestly just be a spot for him, just because they have Jimmy Garoppolo, and if you're gonna bring him in as a bridge guy.
Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, they like O'Connell, I think. Though.
No, I think they're gonna get Penix in the draft.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's.
I think Seattle might go for him.
I gonna say
They're gonna trade up for him.
Raiders been looking for a quarterback.
That's true.
Yeah,
I think O'Connell was a good quarterback though.
Yeah, but
I don't know if he's starter, but I
don't think that you can build a franchise.
Yeah. I know it'll be interesting to see Russ and Future in the same city though. If that is to happen, that'd be fun.
That's our dream right
That'd
there.
be
Go
fun.
to Atlanta.
All right, let's talk combine. Let's get 2 positives, 2 negatives.
That's a good one.
Or A positive, A negative, whatever.
A positive, A negative.
I'll do 2.
I'll do one of one. I will say I think my positive was a Wyoming O lineman with a mullet running a.
He was booking it.
He was booking it.
Oh my goodness.
He ran a pretty impressive 40-yard dash time.
There are 2 guys it was 2 aligned with mullets, and they both they were hauling.
It's just these guys like that make you love the game. Just these huge guys with mullets who are just running for their lives. It is really impressive to see. And obviously I saw he was from Wyoming, so I would say I'm on the fringe of Wyoming football Twitter. So every so often I'll get a tweet from them, and I'll be like,
Barstool, Wyoming had something about it.
Yeah, they had something about it, and I'm like, yeah, guys, and it's just kind of funny. And then I guess my negative would be, which it's probably shared among us, was Nate Wiggins having an injury and having to end his combine day early.
Yeah,
it's probably my negative, just because that's a Clemson Tiger. It hates you don't want to see him hurt, especially when it's at the combine. So that's my positive, negative.
This is my positive will be, I forget the stat, but it was most Clemson's players finished either first or second.
Yeah, it was first or second in all of the combine stuff they did.
And so that's a really good positive. I feel like my negative is Sam Hartman was the only quarterback to do the 40-yard dash. Now, I understand a quarterback not doing a 40-yard dash.
Moving.
But at the same time, I feel like some of the quarterbacks in this draft are really good on their feet, and I feel like...
But that's why they don't need to get 40, because they already know they're good on their feet.
That is true.
There's no point in doing the 40 and ruining your number.
Yeah.
I understand what you're getting at.
And then positive for me, probably Xavier Worthy running the fastest combine. So that was
all time.
nice to see. I mean, I've been a fan all year. Yeah.
Jeez.
Been a fan of Xavier Worthy. Saying like, you don't have to even check the 40 time. You just gotta watch tape and see how. I like his confidence, and then I guess a negative would be like JJ McCarthy. He didn't have a great combine.
Yeah, he didn't do great.
Roman Dunze, I think, impressed. I think he looked really good. He was one of the only guys actually catching the balls that Penix was throwing, and Penix was throwing some dots, and it only seemed like his receivers could catch it, so I'll give it to Roman. My other positive I'd say is, his name just blanked. The quarterback from Tennessee.
Joe Milton.
Milton, thank you. I was going to say Jalen Miller. I knew him. Joe Milton, he looked really good. His arm, he was absolutely slinging it. And obviously, we all knew he could throw it, but Jesus, he was tossing that ball.
Bro.
And then I'll say a negative. I was going to say McCarthy. I'm going to keep it there. I think JJ McCarthy just didn't look great.
Yeah.
I think he's not going to tank his stock at all, but it's still something you need to look out after. And I think the other one's just going to be the quarterbacks in general not participating at all.
Yeah.
I think some of the guys should have participated in certain drills. I think Drake May should have participated a little more because I think his stock is falling. Mm-hmm. And I think it fell a little more after seeing what all the other guys can do.
Yeah.
I think Jane Daniels and Caleb Williams are fine where they are. I think Caleb should have turned in his medical stuff, but I understand that he's only going to do it for teams he thinks will pick him.
Yeah.
So I get what he's doing, but
Yeah.
I still think he should have done it just for the combine. It would have been so much easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all.
Caleb Williams just been so weird the last few weeks.
He's a little cocky, but I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I think it's
You just know.
you're going number one. You're going to be confident. We've seen it happen before with guys like Eli and all these guys have been super confident.
And like, you want your quarterback to be confident because look, if the quarterback not confident, the team not going to be confident.
Yeah.
If the quarterback don't show that he's a confident player, you need your quarterback to be confident. Basically.
Yeah. I agree. All right, Chris, you want to start us off with overtime?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been on much franchise lately. I've been on too much taking lately, but I mean, other than the Super Bowl, I didn't do much in free agency. I didn't go too crazy. Lost a couple people, unfortunately. Lost my best corner. He didn't want to resign. I tried to throw all the money at him, but he didn't want to resign. But drafted some good secondaries. I traded Will Levis for some picks. I mean, I don't need them no more. I got Drake May. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's about it.
On to repeat.
Yeah.
So mine's the second tier of English football, the championship. It's a really close race right now. I believe the third place team is Leeds and the top place is Leicester, and they're only six points apart. It's a really interesting title race, as I feel like championship football doesn't get as much love as it should, and I believe the top three teams will move up, just like how Burnley will move down.
Well, realistically, I would also believe the top three teams will move up, considering.
Well, no, it's only top two go up, and then it's a playoff. For the
Yeah,
Who's in the
championship's
playoff?
a bit different.
It'd be Leeds, Southampton.
Give
West
me
Brom.
Leeds, come on.
I want to see Norwich in there because America's best strikers on that team.
Norwich is just a fun team
America's
too.
Josh Sargent, Pulisic's a
Oh
winger.
yeah, he's a baller.
Pulisic's a winger too.
I say
So I can't really-
Norwich has always been. I've always kind of rooted for them just because they have the record for most for the team with the most.
Like
Promotions,
bouncing back,
demotions.
yeah.
Like there's a few years where they were bouncing back and forth. So
Bring them back.
I always like seeing them go back, go up, and maybe if they can keep playing well, maybe they'll squeeze in, go up, and stay there.
I think they should. I think the
Yeah,
big
I
thing
understand,
was
but-
the United States player Josh Sargent got recently off of injury, and he's a baller. That's good.
So we didn't talk about it during the NFL segment, but just a little recap. The Panthers franchise tag Brian Burns. I know the fan base has been pretty divided about that, just because
Hate the dude.
because
Just
some people have wanted, some people wanted to trade him and kind of fully embrace the rebuild. I've always been a big Brian Burns fan.
Yeah.
I love seeing him play for us. I think he's a very good player, and I think, people point his sack totals dipping this year, but I think that's because for a lot of our games, we were, people were chewing clock by the third quarter. So
Right.
it's like he's not going to get to the quarterback if the quarterback's handing it off or throwing checkdowns for an entire half. So seeing him franchise tagged, seeing him get paid, I'm happy about that. I really like his
say he
game.
got paid. He just got tagged.
And
Well, he got tagged, but you know what I mean.
and
Like
the
he's gonna
thing-
get paid. He's
Probably not.
I hope so.
And the
I
thing
hope
is,
so.
like, if they want to trade him, they should have did that last season.
Yeah,
When they were
it's-
offered,
When-
2
yeah.
firsts
They were-
and a second,
Yeah,
right?
they should-
It's
that
yeah,
last
it's to trade. I feel like now it's a bit too late. I just it's also one of those things where losing DJ Moore and losing Christian McCaffrey, Brian Burns is like for me in that tier of Panthers player who I'm a really big fan of. So I'm a bit more biased. Just like it's one of my favorite players. I love seeing him on the Panthers. So, and then we're looking to get release Dante Jackson, which is just he's been on the team for a while now. It's just.
5-6 years.
Yeah, he's 5-6 years. I can understand why we're doing it. It's just he's a similar player where he's like one of those guys on the defense I've always kind of liked. Maybe not like the top corner in the league or anything, nothing like that. But he's just a solid player who I've always been a fan of. So seeing him leave is just it's kind of a mix of happiness, sadness, kind of bittersweet, I guess.
Yeah. Then you just brought it up on the document, but I'll bring it up real quick. Arch Manning opting out of the new NCAA game. What do we think? Does anyone care?
I thought his whole justification was that he wants to focus on the field, which I understand that completely, but it seems...
I was getting paid doing anything.
It's one of those things you think about it for a second, it's like this guy's getting $600 to be in a video game. How does that add any... how does that affect how he throws the football? It just seems strange, but it's one of those things where I think it's strange that he did it, but I don't really care.
I mean, he's gonna be a low overall, like a 50 overall.
Yeah, he didn't want to be 71, bro.
Mark
He wasn't even gonna be a
gets
71 because he's a backup. Oh,
I think the funniest response I've seen of it is people are like, do we need to tell Arch Manning that he's not actually going into the game? His name is?
Well, I also saw that he wants to wait until he's going to be a starter before he's
I can
in the game,
understand
but
that.
still,
But still,
it's a little silly. I don't care, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use him anyway.
And then WWE 2K24 just released for pre-orders. I'm excited to get into it a little bit tonight. Play some of the new game modes, play with some of the new superstars available. Excited to do some Dusty Road stuff. I think he'll be fun to play with. But yeah, I mean, anything anyone's excited for about the game?
I mean, I'm excited about it releasing. There's a lot more new content this year.
A lot of hype.
A lot of hype, a lot of new content, and I have this year's game. I have WWE 2K23. We've played it a lot together. So I was a real big fan of it. I love playing
Actually,
it.
it was my most played game last year.
Yeah.
So I'm sure this will be my most played
So
this year.
yeah,
so
I'm
it's
just.
like-
I think it's a way more improved version of this year's game. So I'm looking forward to getting it and playing it a lot.
Is GM mode in this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm looking forward to because whenever we do it, it's
Yeah, I think it'll be
It's a lot
fun
of fun.
to start one kind of soon, just so we can get it like while it's hot. I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for the Road to WrestleMania stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. But yeah.
And for me, 40 years of WrestleMania.
Yeah. The showcase build looks really good, and I'm excited for ref mode.
Yeah.
Just the idea of being a ref is so funny.
I'm
to me.
excited for Teddy Long. Haven't seen him in a game in a little bit. Love Teddy Long. And yeah, Dusty. I think I'm most excited for his inclusion in the game. But yeah, I think that's all we have. Thank you for watching. We will see y'all next week.